I'm Yama Brown.
I'm Heather Hayes.
And we are
Soul Sisters.
We'll be talking about life, love, and soul.
Then we can dig it.
We're back on Soul Sisters, and we have a special guest, Miss Crystal Roberson. Is it Roberson or Roberson?
Roberson.
Roberson. I knew I was going to sell it wrong and say it wrong. How are you?
Good. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thanks
Good.
for being here.
I was looking at your accolades are just incredible. I'm like, well, what do we say? So, I mean, we have several of my favorite, but of course, I love BMF and The Gilded Age, and then also All American, which I just kind of stumbled on All American. But you directed, a few TV shows in other areas also. I just think it's so awesome. How do you even dream that big, and how did you decide you wanted to be a writer and a director?
Oh, great question. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. You know what? I like to dream big. There's something about it there's something about how it makes me a little bit nervous. There's something about oh, could that actually happen to somebody like me? There's something about that really added to my drive and my ambition, knowing that I didn't know anyone who could do something like this. When I was growing up, that sort of thing really pushed me. So I started off as a photographer in high school, and got to college and realized that movies are really pictures. They're moving pictures. And so I had already been in love with photography. And so when I started seeing movies in that different way, that's what really sort of lit that spark for me. And then like you said, it was just I just started dreaming and getting into oh, you know what if I could do this? I don't know how, but I was excited about figuring it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you go to school? Did you go to film school, or was that your path? Where did you go?
Yeah, so I went to undergrad. I got a mass media broadcasting degree at Valdosta State University in South Georgia. And then I ended up going to Savannah College of Art and Design for film school. Right around that time I went to film school, the tax incentive in Georgia took off. And so every film and television project that came to Georgia got a big tax incentive to come. And so that's when I was in film school, when I was in grad school. So that happened. Timing was perfect. I actually left grad school to just start a career in film, because they were they don't really care a lot about your master's degree in film. They care more about if you know what you're doing, and there's all this other stuff they care more about than your degree. So I was why am I going in debt? Why am I going in debt?
Let me just get started.
Yeah.
Tell us about this program that you did with Sony Pictures, the director's program.
Cool. So there are a lot of different directors programs out there. Sony is one of them, but they're set up so that diverse directors can get a shot at getting on set, starting to shadow other directors, or get just full on directing, opportunities. So Disney has one, Sony has one, Warner Brothers has one, they're all listed on the DGA Directors Guild website. And so I had been applying to all of them for years, and kept getting those rejection letters, and, but they say sometimes they don't even accept first year applicants. So anybody out there who's applying to one, I would say keep trying, because the first year applicants rarely even get picked. They choose the second year and the third year applicants, because they want to know that you're going to continue trying, that you're continuing to grow, that you're continuing to film. And so that's what I did. I just kept applying every year, and finally got into Sony. And Sony was cool. It was good on a lot of different levels. They teach you how to sell yourself, because you got to get into the room and get the job, right? So your interview is just as important sometimes as your talent, because if you can't interview well, you never get a chance to show how talented you are. So I think Sony helped me most with like how to get into the room, how to sell myself, how to talk to people so that they could give me a shot.
As
you
an
know?
African American woman, your path had to be harder than a lot of people's. Because I think for a long time, we were seeing the hashtag, Oscars so white, and all the things that, there's not necessarily a lot of inclusivity sometimes. I mean, they're trying to do better. Do you see, since you've been in it a while, do you see anything getting better, or like how much more work do you think that they have to do to be more inclusive to people, not even just in front of the screen, because I know you don't see a lot of people looking like us behind the screen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, coming into it as a Black woman, I already knew that like I'm representing 1%, maybe 2% tops of like all the people who do what I do in my field. And so I came into it knowing that it was going to be really hard. And I think that it's like, if you hype yourself up to think like this is going to be the hardest thing, it's damn near impossible. If you go into it like that, you're ready for like the little struggles that come along, and like you kind of expect that it's going to be rough. And so I think that helped me, honestly, knowing that like, okay, I'm a Black woman, let's be real, it's going to be tough. Because I wasn't caught off guard by anything. I expected the little, the moments of slight racism or sexism. I expected all of that, you know what I mean? So it didn't throw me off. I was like, yep, I knew that was going to be here, and I'm going to keep moving because this is a part of the path, and I think that the more women, especially Black women, Black people, anybody who is not the majority, quote unquote, I think as long as you go into it knowing and expecting that it's going to be a little tough, like you get through it easier. Like it's when you expect suddenly that racism is going to disappear, or sexism is going to disappear. Like it's not, and it's not going to do that for you or anybody else, anytime soon, unfortunately. So it's like, this is a part of the journey. It's not that you have to accept it and smile at it, but it's like, okay, I expected this guy to be mad that I have a job that where he has to report to me as his boss. So am I going to get all caught up in that and let it distract me from my job? No, like that's his problem, really. Right. I mean, it affects me in a way, but it's really not my issue to fix. You know what I mean? Only he can do that. All I can do is just show up with kindness and professionalism and do my job and get my money. That's really,
It's just crazy how Black women, whether it be in entertainment or in corporate America, have to know how to navigate those spaces. Because at the end of the day, it's just like you said, it's not going to change anytime soon. I just think to me, it's like when I was looking at your resume and so I'm like, it's just, we just didn't have these images. We didn't have these women, a woman like you to look up to in these spaces. I mean, when you talk to much younger girls, like 10, 11, like some of this is normal to them. And I'm like, well, of course it is, because the images that they're seeing now with Black women, especially if you're like 15, your first lady was Michelle Obama. And you're like, what do you mean?
right.
You know what I mean? So they don't know anything other than that. And I just think it always is so exciting to me to see someone like yourself and other people paving the way for, so many young, talented African-American women coming behind you, and they get to see that. And it's like, monkey see, monkey do. Like, I know when I was younger, if I could see somebody doing what I wanted to do, then I'm like, oh, it's a chance, it's an opportunity that I could possibly do it as well. And I think that's just so powerful, what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I had that too. Like I had women who I saw for the first time. Shout out to Diane Ashford and Angie Bones from Atlanta, Georgia, 2 Black female producers. When I first saw them as producers, I was like, oh, those are the producers? Oh, and it gave me that hope, like, see, there's somebody who looks like me who's doing this. And I think that's so important, if not absolutely necessary, for you to be able to like keep going and feel like you're not just trying to do something that's impossible, so I like to like keep my nails done and everything, because I have a lot of young Black girls come up to me on set, like I see you and I see myself in you, and you make me see that like I can do this too. And like that means the world, the absolute world to me. Because like I said, I had that. And if I wouldn't have had that, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah, because you have to be able to see yourself in those spaces.
You do.
Yeah,
It's
to know
important.
it's possible. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very important to see yourself. And that's one of the reasons I went into film and TV. That's why I like to stay in it, and I like to go through all the hard work to stay in it, because I think it's really important. I grew up when we didn't have a lot of Black dolls, like baby dolls, Barbie dolls, like they were introduced in the 80s as I was growing up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
All that stuff is really important.
I see you're doing a project. You're with the next season of Genius for National Geographic Channel. How much are you allowed to tell us about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, Genius, MLKX is gonna be so good. Genius, every season on that show, they do a different genius. Last season was Aretha Franklin. They did Pablo Picasso. They did Einstein was the first season. So this next season coming up is going to be Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. I think that it's absolutely brilliant. I'm not just saying that because I worked on the show. I think it's brilliant because I don't know if we've ever seen these two men compared and contrasted in this way before. And like we've talked about them, their names always come up synonymously. Sometimes they always come up together in the same sentence. Yeah. But never have I ever seen it quite done like this before. And I think that people are really gonna be like, what I'm hoping that people will get from it is like, these two men were really human, but they chose to do something very iconic and change, and they tried to change the world while they were alive. In their short 39 years, both of them died at the age of, both of them were killed at the age of 39. So just in their short 39 years on Earth, they were like, you know what, I'm gonna make a change, and I don't care if it kills me, I'm gonna make a change. And they were everyday human, flawed men too, but they just had this calling on their life. And I hope that people can see that in themselves, because I think that it's important to tell that story, because we live in a era where it's almost like it's hard to be a hero now, because everybody's so quick to jump on your social media, pick you apart. They can pick apart every word that you say, you know what I mean? Even regardless of the intention or anything. So it's tough now being a hero. And so I just hope that this inspires more people to stand up and be a hero. And who cares if you're flawed? Who cares if people are trying to tear you apart? I mean, the FBI was all behind, all outside of Malcolm and Martin's houses, tapping their phones, constantly trying to bring them down. So I really, and I'm excited because the younger generation, I think, needs to know these men on a more human level. I think beyond just okay, it's Martin Luther King Day, the I Have a Dream speech. It's so much more than that, and I think that it's important to continue telling those stories for sure. So I'm really, really excited about that one. We don't have a air date as of yet, but definitely stay tuned, because there's some really, really great actors and performances and all that good stuff is in it.
That's awesome.
So what's next up for you? What do you got in development that you can share with us?
So next, I'm doing this next season of BMF. I'm directing that. I started in May. They've already started shooting season 3, but I come up closer to the finale. So I'm excited about joining the family again. And I love working with those guys over there, man. And the writers on BMF are so excited all the time and so amped to tell a good story. and to tell the closest to the truth as possible.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that. And I have some other things I'm super excited about that I can't unfortunately speak on right now, but
Before you get out of here, can you tell everybody, where are you big on social media and where they can find you on social media so they can keep up with everything you have coming up next?
yeah, I'm mainly on Instagram at CC Roberson Directs. There's a underscore between CC Roberson and Directs. So yeah, catch me on Instagram. That's usually where I post and keep up with things. And I'm gonna try to expand my social media a little bit more in 2023. But right now, yeah, I'm working with IG, and I'm happy to touch base with people there for sure.
Well, I cannot wait. I'm going to stay on the look because I like BMF too. So I'm going to stay on the look for your episodes for sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Just congratulations on everything. And I just think that by doing what you love, you're doing such a service to our community and to women in general. And so I just think it's really awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks for all that you do as well. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Thanks for all that you do as well. It's Women's History Month. And I'm so happy I got a chance to sit down with Soul Sisters on Dash Radio for the end of Women's History Month. That's really, y'all made my month. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys,
Thank you.
stay on the lookout for Crystal Roberson. She's fly, like she's dope, y'all. And we're gonna go out right now with That Lady by the Ozzy Brothers, and we will be back.
God bless, Crystal.